So I heard Steve got some new Revoltechs for his collection. Maybe he finally got that Revoltech Mothra he's been looking for. Cause I wanna kill it with fire. What the hell are you?
Well, I'm Steve's new Revoltech figure.
Well, you're definitely not a Mothra, but I'm pretty sure you'll do.
Well, what's that supposed to make?
They're much better. Wait a minute, I said fire. There we go.
Hey, Rangers, welcome to Super Report Reviews. My name's Steve, and today we're going over the Revoltech Yamaguchi Evangelion mass production types. This is the ground version and the flying version. The serial number would be number 26 for both of these guys, so it's kind of confusing, I know, but there is two different versions of the same figure. And this is from the 1997 movie End of Evangelion. If you guys haven't seen the film, it's a little strange, but it concludes the original Neon Genesis Evangelion anime, so if you guys haven't seen it, definitely recommend going to check it out. A lot of interesting stuff happens in that film. And the main reason I'm doing this review, and also the reason why I acquired these figures, is a lot of you guys have been asking for me to do Revoltech Evangelions, which, having messed around with them before, not as big of a fan of those as, say, the Robot Spirits versions. But there's just so much variety that you can get with the Robot Spirits figures. And it's also, to my understanding, the only way to really get articulated mass production Evas from the films. So when I seen these pop up on AmiYami for pre-owned, I picked up these two for slightly over $40 plus shipping, which seemed like a pretty good deal. And I also just don't own any representation of these Evangelions in my collection, so when I saw both of the versions pop up on there, I just hopped on it. And because you guys have been requesting me to do Revoltech Evangelions anyways, it just made the purchase even easier. So we're going to go over both of these figures in this video, because why not? Because outside of the accessories, mostly everything else about these Evangelions is the same. So anyways, without further ado, further packaging. For the front of the box is pretty much mostly the exact same, outside of just what you're going to see inside of the packaging is going to be different between the two, because you'll see the wings here, the weapons for the land version. On the sides, if I show you guys the exact same side anyways, just tells you how the joints work, yada yada yada. Opposite side. Now this is where the boxes get different, because it shows two different pictures for both of the different packagings, where you see him with the wings on, that one's just kind of standing there. And on the back, shows you what each of the figures can do and what all they come with. Here's some stuff I can't understand, and some legal mumbo jumbo. So let's get into the figures. So first we'll go over the standard ground version's accessories, and then we'll go over the flying accessories, and then the figures in general, because again, them just set up stagnant is exact same between the two. So figure do the accessories and then we'll go over that. But he comes with a stand, which is currently still in the packaging. I'll go over the stand with the flying one because it's the exact same stand, but just to let you know, the ground one comes with that too, just in case you want to have him jumping around and doing fancy kung fu moves. Then it comes with this weird double-sided blade sword. You guys might yell at me because I can't remember the official names for these, because it's been so long since I've seen the movie. But you also get to see Asuka use it in the film too, so you can have this posing with Unit 2 if you guys have that figure. But it does look really cool, like the metallic purple for the blades. You got a matte black here for the inside of the blades. Handles look really nice. And then grabbing him, because he's the one that was actually holding it originally, you just kind of slide it in between his fingers. Holds on to it really nicely. It looks really cool with our Evangelion. Really great accessory. And then the head that's on the Evangelion currently is the open mouth version, where it's kind of grimacing, looking super creepy, because these Evangelions don't have any eye holes or any representation of eye sockets anywhere. Actually, it reminds me a lot of the Xenomorph, the way that this guy was designed. But it also has the standard version, which is just a more smiling face, has those Joker red lips, looks super cool. But between both of the figures, this is the heads that come with both standard versions. This one is only available with the ground version. And then he has a smashed in brain grouping out of the top of his head face, which is really cool to see, kind of disturbing. But you can actually set up this particular unit to be a full-on battle damage version, which how you do that, and how you just swap out most of the accessories in general, is you're going to want to straighten out the joints, because their articulation is mostly on ratchet joints. But you're going to want to straighten it out, grab as close as you can to the joint as possible, and then you just kind of pull on the head to pull it out. You might have to rotate it ever so slightly just to loosen it up a bit. But I've noticed when swapping these out, putting these on can be a bit of a pain. But you're just going to want to try to line it up with the socket for the peg here, and then just push it on. But be very careful. If you have any problems, like you don't feel comfortable trying to apply pressure to the peg, I recommend heating up the peg hole there with a hairdryer or even hot water to try to soften up a little bit, just to make this a little easier, which I might actually go do here. Oh, no, it's getting on there ever so slightly. Alright, so got battle damage head, and then he comes with a couple of attachments to give him stumps. So, first, the big one here is primarily going to be replacing the shoulder, and the smaller one here is going to be replacing an elbow joint. From what I've noticed, you can kind of just swap it out whichever side you really feel like you want it to be on. It's, from what I messed around with, pretty universal. So, to me, if it was going to look wrong, it would be on this side, so we're going to try that out first. So again, grab at the joint here, pull it out. That one's actually really easy to do. Then you just slot it in. Now he's got his ripped off arm. Next we will swap out a elbow joint. That comes off real easy. It's pretty much my head gives me the most problems. Then you just slide that on. So now we got a full-on battle damage Ava. Looks sweet, disturbing. Probably going to be using this for one of my photos. So it's not going to be the way I'm going to be displaying mine, but because it's kind of grody looking. But I imagine if like I had a bunch of these though, like using these guys more like army builder figures, I would definitely contemplate having it swapped around, especially if I had unit 2. And then while this is all set up too, you can also remove the back section here. You just lift up on it, and then it comes with a accessory, which is slide it into the peg hole on the top for its entry plug, which this is the dummy program, so this one actually does not have pilots on the inside of it. And then for its hands, which are a pain in the butt to get on this figure, so right now I'm just going to show you them individually, but it comes with a pair of gripping hands for nothing really on this guy in particular, but if you want to, like, say, swap out the lance with the flying version with this one, he does have the hands to pose with it. Or if you just want to punch things, these will work fine for that too. Then it comes with a pair of more open grasping hands, which you're going to be using for like struggling with your other Evangelions or Kaijus in your collection. And a pair of gripping hands, which is primarily for its double-bladed sword. And how you swap these bad boys out is... these ones are a little weird because the peg kind of comes out at an angle on the arm. So the best way I do it is you just kind of grab at the hand. You're going to want to try to pull straight where the line is at. So you're going to want to level it up and then go out straight from there. And rotating helps a little bit there, but you guys can see that's how it sticks out of the arm. Now, let's just, what side are you? Alright, figured it out. So we're going to put a gripping hand on here. Then you're just going to want to sit on top and go straight into the arm where the fly section is. Then rotate it a little bit. Once you hear pop, good to go. And then I'm going to reassemble him, and then we will move on to the flying version. But that is all the accessories you get for the ground one. So for the flying one, first we will go over the stand, which is just a black stand. You will have to assemble this, which you're going to want to insert the large part into the stand here. What this peg here is primarily for the nameplates, if these guys actually came with them. Some of the figures do, so these are pretty much just universal for each of the figures, but this one and the other one does not come with a nameplate. And then it also comes with its own little ratchet joint here, which just pegs into the top. Just go straight in. Really easy to do. As you guys see me take it out anyways. And where you insert this is right here below his tush. Also, I forgot to mention this, but on the bottom of the feet, this peg hole can hook in right here, where I said usually that's for the nameplates. But you can also, if you want to have the figure a little bit more on a sturdy base, you can hook it in there. But it's not really necessary. These guys stand up pretty well by themselves unless you're going to be posing them with a weapon here. Which what he is holding is the Lance of Longulus. Each of these guys eventually had one, but usually the standard one that you see in the TV show is red, while these guys have reproductions that are of a purple color, which has a really nice metallic finish to it. Like the little horn trident at the end looks really cool. Very pointy. One thing though I want to mention is it is very thin, so you got to be very careful with this because this is very easy to break. So when just inserting it into his hands, you just gonna want to make sure you got pretty much the hands posed where you want them to, and then you just slide it in until you start feeling some friction and it's not going to move out. Because this the backhand here, or whichever, get out of here, hand you're going to be having lower on your on the spear anyways, doesn't really have to have as much tension here because you primarily just want one hand holding it securely and the other one just kind of guiding it. Then he comes with his giant wings backpack, which outside of the package you will have to assemble. You just slot these into the peg holes here. Real easy to do. So if you want to get it back into the packaging, you don't want to do the opposite. And this gives the wings some added articulation, so you can have them folded in if you want to. Takes a little bit of finessing because these are ratchet joints. So the ratchet joints do hold poses very well, but it's just trying to articulate these things can be kind of frustrating at times. But you can get a bit of a swivel out of these as well. Just be careful though, because the white is gloss. It's gloss paint back here. So when you're articulating this, make sure to try not to scuff into the paint on the backs here, because definitely don't want to be damaging our figure. Now, how to attach the wings onto the mass production Eva is you're going to want to remove the back here of the cover for the entry plug. A little stiffer on this one, but you lift it up. There's the peg hole, and then you just slot this right into there. Now, on mine, it's a little loose, so just be kind of forewarned if you guys do pick this up, but I did get mine pre-owned, so that could be part of the problem. But once it's on, looks awesome. Easily my favorite between the two in terms of just overall detail and what it comes with, because Flying Evangelion is just super cool looking. Like, that wingspan looks awesome on this guy. Like, it's just a very gorgeous figure, which, especially with it just being primarily glossy white. Though again, I kind of wish they maybe would add a little bit more black lining here to the back sections here just to give it a little bit more of an anime look. But outside of that, nothing really too much else to complain about with this. And then for the hands, literally the exact same thing as what we got with the ground version. Then for a closer look at the details, we already pretty much went over the head sculpt, but it is easily still the creepiest of all the Evangelions. And one thing to point out is his body is done in a very glossy white color scheme. Some black where the mech would actually have some of its joints. And I gotta say, this is easily the least mech looking of all the Evangelion mechs. Because this guy literally just looks like he's maybe just wearing some armor. While the other guys, at least, they look like mechs. They're the same thing, but they at least have that general appearance. Well, this guy, it's just... yeah, weird looking monster. But for his body details, looks really cool. I do love all this gloss black here though, especially on the back section here. It kind of looks like a little face sitting on the back here. The front area is pretty much like what we've seen on most of the other Evangelions. Very similar to the Unit 3 that we already viewed on this channel, but just a lot of white all the time. A little bit of gray right there though on the chest portion of the mech, as the little trademark Evangelion armor piece on the lower section of the waist. And then for the legs, again, just very white. There's not really much else to say other than just detail wise, has some armor plating, has the knee pads here. The shoes, also very white, a little bit of gloss black here for the little indentations for the rivets. No writing on the arm sadly, but just more gloss black where you would see the strip on the forearm. And that's pretty much about it for this guy in terms of detail. Articulation though, head can look up about that far, down about that far, rotate all the way around. If you want to like have it shimmy side to side, you gotta adjust the joint on the neck here, and then you can have it shift side to side because it's not actually on a ball joint, it's on a ratchet joint. Shoulders can go up and down, all the way around. Elbow has a really nice bend to it. Rotation at the elbow. rotation at the hand, no pivot though. Body can go about that far down, that far back, can rotate side to side, but doesn't appear like you can do nothing too crazy because of the way the joint's set up. But if you, and can't really shimmy side to side either unless you, again, mess around with the joint here to get it to do it. Legs can swing side to side, and then can also move up and down on this extra joint here on the back as well. Has a really nice bend here at the knee, rotation at the knee. Feet can move forward and back a little bit, and nice rotation there as well. And for some quick comparisons, here we have the Revoltech mass production Evangelions compared next to some Estes Monster Arts figures with Shin Godzilla and GMK Godzilla. And here they are with some other Revoltechs in my collection with Anubis and Jehute, the Vector Cannon version from Zone of the Enders. And here they are with some NECA action figures with the NECA Shin Godzilla and Crimson Typhoon from Pacific Rim. And finally, here they are compared next to some Evangelions in my collection with the Next Edge Evangelion Unit 1 and the Robot Spirits Evangelion Unit 1. So overall, with the Revoltech Yamaguchi mass production Evangelions, I think these guys are really sweet, especially for the price that I got them at $40, which is pre-owned. I think that's more than reasonable for these guys. I really love the accessories that they come with. The details on them are pretty nice, even though it is a very bland color, but that's just how they were in the film. I maybe would like to maybe seen a little bit more use of black lining on these guys just to help the details pop a little bit more. That and them being Revoltechs, the articulation, while really solid, is just a little bit frustrating to try to deal with when trying to get them into certain poses. But these are just very fun action figures, and also much cheaper than most of the other Evangelions you could get with the Robot Spirits line of Soul Shigokins. The Revoltechs give you definitely your money's worth, and also have easily the most variety of all the action figure Evangelion lines. So if you guys have been wanting to start a third impact in your collection, then definitely let these guys assist you along that path. But what do you guys think? Have you guys picked up the mass production Evangelion figures? What's your favorite Revoltech Evangelion figure? Is Robot Spirits just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have a closer picture of these guys on our website if you want to click the link in the description below. We also have our Patreon account if you guys would like to help support the channel, also down in the description. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.